Yo, what up everybody? It's me, Fitness65. I just thought I'd make a quick video today. Now today I'm just going to be talking about three topics. One's going to be Evan Bournes' big push in the WWE. The second is the Wade Barrett winning NXT. The third is Daniel Bryan and the whole Michael Cole thing. And then maybe the fourth, if I can get to it, I'm going to be talking about the Usos on Raw and how I think they're gonna be a good team if they're healthy. Just wanted to get my thoughts on them. But so let's get started with this video. Now the first thing I wanted to talk about Evan Bourne's big push on Raw. Now Raw, I seen Raw this past Monday, and Raw was a pretty good Raw. I mean, you had R-Truth against Chris Jericho, which was a pretty good matchup. You had some crap on there, but even some of the crap on there was pretty decent, and it was just a really good Raw. And you had some good matches on Raw, well, with the exception of that mixed tag team match. That most of the matches on Raw were pretty good, but Raw started off with the opening segment with Evan Bourne and Edge beating up each other, and I was seeing where they were going to go with this. I mean, it was kind of shocking because you never expect to see Evan Bourne in the opening segment of Raw, someone like Evan Bourne on the opening segment of Raw, but I thought, let's see where they go with this. So they were beating each other up, and Evan Bourne was looking to hit the airborne on Edge, but Edge moved out of the way, and Edge ended up spearing Evan Bourne, and that'd be the end that you see of him. And until little did we know that we ended up seeing him at the end of the night. And then Randy Orton ended up coming out, and Edge and Randy Orton had a confrontation, and then Randy Orton ended up RKOing Edge, and it looked like things were going to be set for the main event later on. But little did we know that that was just for things to come. So they had the segment with Randy Orton and Zack Ryder and Alicia Fox, and that after that segment ended, Randy Orton was getting ready for his match, but then Edge came from behind and he slammed the door on Randy Orton's arm, and we were wondering what was going to happen with that. So they said that Randy Orton wasn't going to be able to compete, and we were wondering who the mystery partner was for that main event between John Cena and the mystery partner against Edge and Sheamus, and we were wondering that who was going to be his partner. And the only scenario that many people were wondering was whether it was going to be Mark Henry, when John Cena said that this person was said about the person, and I was thinking it was going to be probably Mark Henry or somebody else, but it turned out to be Evan Bourne, and I was like, wow, because I did not expect Evan Bourne to be in the main event. But he was in the main event, and he was really impressive in the main event match, and the WWE put a lot more of the focus on Evan Bourne in that matchup, and they let him shine, and he was able to get his moves in, and John Cena gave the spotlight to Evan Bourne, and Sheamus and Edge made Evan Bourne look good and gave the spotlight to him, and he just looked really good, and he ended up getting the victory on Sheamus, the guy who the WWE's been pushing real big, which was pretty interesting to see. And thus Raw ended up on a good note with Evan Bourne and John Cena winning on Raw, and Evan Bourne looked really happy, and he looked happy getting in the ring. He looked happy after the match. It was just a very good sight to see, and I'm hoping that the WWE is going to do something with. I'm really happy that the WWE is starting to push Evan Bourne and focus on Evan Bourne now, because I've been getting tired of seeing this guy job a lot to some of the superstars and this guy not getting a chance, and now it's finally good to see this guy finally get the chance that he deserves and not getting pushed aside or forgotten about. So let's see where they go with this Evan Bourne push, which I'm happy about. It's good to see some new talent finally getting pushed now, like guys like Evan Bourne and R-Truth, who I'm happy about winning the United States title, because I was wondering when this guy was going to get a title. But yeah, it's really interesting seeing guys like this get a push, and let's just see where it goes. But for now, I'm really happy about Evan Bourne getting a push, and it's good to see this guy not being a jobber or wrestling on superstars and not being focused on or forgotten about. So let's see what happens, and it looks like Vince is really high on this guy as well. So let's see where guy's push goes, which I'm hoping goes real big. The guy should be in the Fatal 4-Way main event to replace Randy Orton. I mean, that'll be interesting, as it'd be something new and something fresh, and he can show what he can offer into the main event scene. But he probably won't be in there, but it's always good to think. But I really hope he does replace Randy Orton in the Fatal 4-Way main event. But we'll have to wait and see what happens in the next couple of weeks. But as for now, Evan Bourne is getting a big push. Sorry, my video kind of paused. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk about is the NXT winner, Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett won NXT yesterday, which I'm really happy about. It was between Wade Barrett, David Otunga, and Justin Gabriel, and Wade Barrett ended up winning NXT, which I'm really happy about, because it looked like they were focusing a lot more on Wade Barrett, and it looked like he was going to be the eventual winner anyway, because he kept finishing in the top 10 polls each week on NXT. So you had a feeling that this guy was going to end up winning NXT, and this was really the right move, because the guy has good charisma, he has good mic skills, he's a pretty good, decent worker in the ring, so he had pretty much all the intangibles that you need in the wrestling business. And I'm just glad this guy won, and I was pretty high on this guy anyway, because this guy impressed me the times that I watched NXT with his mic skills and his wrestling ability. So Wade Barrett's your new NXT winner, and let's just hope let's see what kind of a push that this guy gets out of NXT. And then I heard about the commercials of the NXT season 2. From what I heard, they got new guys training. They got new guys with the new rookies that are on the show. You got Cabal, who you know as Senshi. You have Joe Henning on there, and you have some other guys, and also the guys that they put with them. It's interesting who they have with these guys. You got Michelle McCool with Senshi, which could be which many people think is going to be a train wreck, which I think it's going to be a train wreck, because it really doesn't make any sense of putting Michelle McCool with Senshi, but we'll have to see what happens with that. And then you got MVP and Mark Henry and other people paired up with other rookies. So let's see what happens with NXT season 2, which should be a pretty good, interesting season, but it won't be as good as season 1 of NXT. But who knows, maybe it might be kind of up there with it. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. And the third thing I wanted to talk about Bryan Danielson and Michael Cole. This whole Daniel Bryanson and Michael Cole thing has been really interesting. The interaction between these two have been really interesting the past couple weeks. You had Michael Cole doing his heel thing and just shooting on Daniel Bryan. You had Daniel Bryan wanting to prove himself to Michael Cole and wanting to admit to Michael Cole that he's good and that he has what it takes. And then you had the thing that they did this past Monday with The Miz and Daniel Bryan going one-on-one, which was a good match, but it was a little too short, but it served its purpose. And then you had the confrontation at the end with Miz attacking Daniel Bryan and Michael Cole, and then The Miz wanting Daniel Bryan to apologize to Michael Cole, and then Daniel Bryan pushed The Miz into Michael Cole, and Michael Cole kind of got all pissed off about that. That was pretty interesting, and I'm digging this whole thing with Daniel Bryan, because like I said, I'm a big fan of Daniel Bryan, and I'm really interested in where they go with this, as this has been one of the most interesting things that's been going on this past week on Raw and NXT. So let's see what they do with this. And then the final thing I wanted to talk about is the Usos. Just real quick about them. This team came into the scene and they sort of impressed me. They kind of remind me a little bit of the Harlem Heat, and kind of like the Wild Samoans with their style and their promos and their wrestling ability. But this team is fresh, and this team is new, and we'll have to see what this team brings to the table. But if this team can stay healthy and just bring what they can bring to the table, then this team will be the most talked about team and one of the best teams in wrestling right now.